I don't know what game. Pick a Super Nintendo game that I have, because you've seen my library.
Yeah. Here, hold the microphone a little closer to your game so I can see them better.
Okay. We got
Fucking,
Seven Saga, Breath of Fire, Breath of Fire 3, Castlevania, Chrono Trigger, Donkey Kong 1, 2, and 3, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 2 and 3, Harvest Moon, Kirby Superstar. I'm not playing Kirby.
fucking Secret of Mana. Fucking
I have Secret of Mana.
shit.
Secret of
Fucking
Mana
act.
it is.
Fucking ActRaiser.
Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong 1, 2, or 3.
2.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude,
Wait, do
those
we have a
things.
whole
The
crew
soundtrack
tonight?
on those things. I think we do magically.
Oh, damn!
Yes.
I gotta see. That's good. That's good. I didn't fire it off yet because I gotta add you to the fucking thing, man. Let's get ready to theory.
Yeah, fucking Donkey Kong. The fucking soundtrack on those things fucking is awesome for Super Nintendo games.
Eat the Rich. Eat that bitch. The artist formerly known as Eat the Rich. All right. Yeah, you want me to just fire it up because I'm gonna go piss, but like, you can fucking talk about whatever.
You ever play the Donkey Kong Vaporwave mod?
No.
No.
It's cool.
I'll have to set that up. All right, we're going live in 5. As soon as I find the fucking thing to press. There we go.
It says we've been live for a minute and a half.
Does it?
Yep.
Really?
Donkey Kong.exe.
How'd you know we've been live for a minute and a half? Where are you at? You at the page?
I happen to follow us on the Facebooks.
Oh shit. Oh damn. Damn. Select the game. Look, it makes you pick from a limited number of games. I can't pick the game, but it's gaming content. Don't tell me what to do. Piece of shit. Update titles. Gaming content. Donkey Kong Country
Thank you.
2. I haven't played this game in forever, dude. I'll fucking do it.
You have not played Donkey Kong?
Oh, I have. I used to have all 3. I had the Nintendo cartridges, dude. I had the guidebooks. I had all the cheats. I did everything in those games.
I sent you a link to the Donkey Kong Vaporwave exe. Donkey Kong.exe.
Nintendo cartridges, dude.
Sound like shit.
Did everything in those games. All right, take me to that. Why is it 18 years or older? What?
Wow. You're vaporwaving.
Oh, I made up my mind. Time to put my penis in your bum. Oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck.
Plus, I wonder.
Don't care who you are, 'cause I'm gonna bust. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm going to bust.
Anyone have any theories on why it's rated 18 plus?
No, dude, maybe it's about busting. I told you, man, I'm in a mood tonight. I don't want to do all that fucking like, well, the problem is with the Republican part. I don't want to do that tonight. I'm fucking depressed. I just want to talk.
So are we live?
Yeah, we've been live. Oh yeah, welcome to the.
Fuck it, I'll do it.
Okay,
welcome to the Sons of Trier.
Oh.
I'm your current host tonight.
It's saying offline. What the fuck?
The mess from the West.
The mess from the West, the best of the West.
No. Definitely not the best. I'm the mess from the West.
It's the host with the least. You can't be the mess from the West.
No, you're the host with the least. I'm the mess from the West.
Oh. Okay.
No,
I don't remember what number I am though. What am I, the like 5th son of Trier?
4th.
8th?
Oh, you are 5th. Yeah, I true 6th.
5th son of Trier, and your host tonight, Mr. Cenk Engels, self-hating communist, here to be a patsy.
Yay! Fucking patsy.
You said it was
Hey, a fucking patsy.
You Freudian slipped and said self-hating communist.
Oh, did I?
Oh, we got his ass.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Got his ass. Boom, 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 boom.
Is it
You
always
pigs in human clothing?
Is it always called a Freudian slip, even if it's not like about fucking your mom or your butthole or something?
Yeah.
How do you know that
No.
that one's not about fucking my butthole?
I mean, I was just assuming.
How
Yeah.
old are you?
How old are you?
Old enough to know better.
Yeah.
In these here parts, we say
It's not very
asshole.
specific.
I guess that makes sense. For like half a second though, I thought like maybe it was only that if it was like you accidentally said some edible shit or whatever.
Hey, Cenk, you want to introduce the rest of us once we stop interrupting
Yeah,
you and making fun of your butthole?
Once you stop fucking ripping on me, Jesus fucking Christ.
We're going up in that ass.
Here for a super secret, no one knows about it. We're doing 2 shows this week.
Yeah.
Taping. We've got Mr. Dan Cohen.
Yo, it's your boy Dan Cohen back at it again with small dick, smallest dick
Hey.
in the
Oh.
West.
We're gonna leave it there.
You need a microphone to see. You need a microscope to see that shit, and a microphone to hear it bust. It's just pew, pew, pew. It's like a moth going off. Tiny dick power, 3 inches of blue steel hitting the back walls. Nah, never. That's real.
And the other 3 here to keep us in some semblance of order. We have John Sinclair.
The human yarmulke clip.
Very, very helpful. Thank you so much for at least trying to balance poor Dan out.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else to say after he bragged about the size of his penis, but inverse, because that's another Jewish stereotype. I figure we don't need any more Jewish stereotypes, like a Jew being long-winded.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And Eat the Rich.
Imagine a guinea pig with a guillotine.
Human guinea pig with a guillotine. And you know who else deals a lot with guillotines? The True Horror.
Hey, what's up? What's up,
It's the True
everybody
Horror.
out there in listener land? Hey, so glad you guys could join us tonight. We're all happy and chill tonight. I know I am. I got all the poison out of my system last night. Today I'm just like, I'm looking at animals. It's springtime. Thinking about Easter bunnies. It's great today.
They come back to the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Everything was caused by guinea pigs.
Oh,
Hold
there was
on.
like a movie from like 4 or 5 years ago, which is probably in reality like 10 or 15 years ago because that's how my brain works, of course.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
That was like guinea pigs that are spies. I vaguely remember this.
Hamster spy.
Oh yeah.
It was that movie. It was invading Richard Gere.
Ah, I believe you because I've never seen any movies.
Yeah,
That's a
it was
whole nother
It
podcast.
was that kids movie where the hamsters and the guinea pigs had to invade Richard Gere's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go down on a little zip line and everything.
Listen, I'm going to admit to you, I have not actually seen the movie, so I assume you're telling the truth.
It was a Harvey Weinstein production. That's why it was a kids movie.
It's Harvey Weinsteiner. Okay.
Otherwise, that should not have been a fucking kids movie.
Good enough, I suppose.
I
I
mean,
was going to say
Just
just sort of picture them whenever you think of Eat the Rich, but now I take it back.
Yeah,
Eat
please
that.
don't associate him.
I apologize.
Please don't associate.
I didn't realize I didn't see the show.
Okay. Well, don't associate my man with putting gerbils in his ass.
No.
You should have.
We're going to leave that firmly in your camp here, Dan.
You should have seen the episode where they
Thank
went
you.
to Guantanamo.
Yeah. And then, and had to escape the report on Richard Gere's ass.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The set was amazing. They filmed it inside his ass too.
That's one of those where it's such a widespread go-to. I always
I know.
wondered if like
Yeah, Richard Gere's ass is widespread.
Film
yeah, there you go. Yeah. But no, do you think he has any fun with it at all? Like, do you
No.
think like as often as he runs into it, do you think he ever got to the point where he was like, okay, fair enough? Like,
No. Jesus, dude. They're talking about him killing animals with his ass. There's no way that dude is like, yeah, that's silly, guys.
I mean, I'm saying it's widespread. I mean, as a go-to. I mean, the third time he hears that he's mad, the 10th time he hears that he's like, oh God, I'm so sick of this. But I mean, like the 300th time, he has to be like, okay, I'm gonna reclaim this. I'm gonna be like, I'm laughing along with this.
Nah, dude. Nah, there's no way. Why would he do that? Why would he be like, you know what's fucking chill? People talking about me killing animals with my ass. Shit.
That sounds like a thing he'd be okay with.
You think that sounds like Richard Gere?
Yeah, that's what I think of whenever
I
I think of
don't.
Richard Gere. I assume
It's-
again never seen any movies ever. So
Well, he was a leading man. He was super boring. He was a leading man, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard for me to even think what his personality would be. Like,
Dude who shoves shit in his ass and kills it with his ass.
maybe
Alright,
that's why the
I
joke
will-
stuck.
Who is Richard Gere?
I just know him from when I was a 9-year-old and we were always talking about him killing hamsters with his butthole.
Right,
Uh,
right.
He wasn't a musician. I thought he was some sort of musician.
No, he was in Pretty Woman and an officer and a gentleman. And
was like a leading
Uh,
man.
He's a president in all those movies.
yeah,
Can you
And
pick a different movie that I've
Us
seen?
all.
Hachi,
I can't even-
a hamster's tale about being a Richard Gere's ass.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Unfaithful, the movie about Richard Gere cheating on his wife with a hamster in his ass.
Runaway Bride, the movie about
Him running
him
away
putting
with
a
it.
hamster.
About running away with his bride to put hamsters in his ass. American
I'm just-
Gigolo.
Man,
I'm
poor
still- I'm
Richard
still-
Gere is just getting ripped on by you this morning.
What's
Well,
that?
Is it because he's American monarchy?
No. You know
Part
what
of
it
the
is?
monarchy.
I just like I told you, man. I'm just in a mood. I'm just
Are you?
moody today. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
American
decided
Gigolo.
to talk about the monarchy.
No, we're gonna talk about John's thing first, because you know
Oh, okay.
he's the one who's teed up to Hitler, so we can't let that pass.
Okay.
Cancel buttons ready, Twitter. Get
So,
them ready.
I wanted to talk about this because I found it to be an interesting piece of discourse that it's not going around a lot. It's not like the touch grass thing where some people were really feeling themselves on arguing that point. But this is if you heard the story recently about the mentally handicapped or mentally disabled homeless man who assaulted the Asian woman in New York City. So this person got out of prison and he was like convicted of my understanding of the story is he was convicted of killing his mother, and got out because he like was mentally disabled and wasn't sentenced to like that much time for like first degree murder or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was staying at a hotel that was like being provided to him or something like that, and he was like walking down the street. He attacked an older Asian woman and started screaming, "You don't belong here," at her.
Oh no.
And someone like tried to chase him down, and he pulled a knife out, and the guy was like, "Okay, I'm just not gonna mess with him."
gonna engage with this.
Yeah, so eventually he got caught, and the question, he's been charged with a hate crime. So the question becomes, can a mentally, assuming that we have the current economic framework, we're not talking about an ideal situation under fully automated luxury gay space communism.
Yeah.
We're just talking about this situation. Is it ethical to charge a mentally disabled person with a hate crime? And why is your answer ableist? Because your answer is always ableist.
Yeah.
In advance, why are you an idiot?
Yeah. Savage, heartless ableist.
Yeah. So there's no way to answer that question without
without being
getting someone mad at you. Because if you just
Seen this play out in the streets.
Because the answer, it's a binary choice, right? The answer is either yes, it is okay to charge this man with a hate crime, in which case you're ableist for charging a mentally handicapped person with a hate crime, or no, it's not okay, in which case, what? Just because he's mentally handicapped?
Well, no, there's more answers because then they're gonna say how handicapped
yeah.
Well, yeah, no,
How
true.
handicapped is he?
and what kind of handicap are we talking?
No, Eat your or artist formerly known as Eat.
Thank you.
You are absolutely right. There is there is a third argument. You can argue the semantics of what type of mental disability did he have, but even arguing the semantics can also be considered ableist, because then you're just picking and choosing which groups of disabled people to be ableist toward in certain people's minds.
Can I ask you something, John? Did Coffee Spoonie put you up to this shit? Are you hitting that on the side and usually she put you up to this?
Oh yeah.
She paid off the dude to do the crime. She was.
Are you suggesting that all Jews know each other?
Well, we do know all other Jews, so yes.
No, she was in a secret lab and she concocted this trap to trap us into ableism, and then she paid that dude to do that shit. That's the whole thing.
I mean, just listen. I find it suspicious that you can't answer my question definitively. You had to deflect with, "Are you being anti-Semitic against us?" No. I'm putting it out here first. John Sinclair.
I don't know. No, it sounds like you're struggling with some internalized anti-Semitism. It's okay. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I forgive you.
You hitting them back walls? All right, that's fine. Hit them back walls.
It's sad when you see it play out in real life.
I know. God, fucking Coffee Spooners, Jesus. I woe to everybody who's done it.
Like, don't kill him, and they're like they kind of have a right to.
Like, it's funny because it like a message board or something where people that care about this stuff go to like post about it. It would be an ideal place to discuss the sort of like deep questions, but this one, at first I didn't know what specific incident you were talking about, but then when you gave the details, I was like, oh yeah, I saw that. I went to see some posts about it, and the replies were so horrible. I like had to avert my gaze.
I want to make it clear that I've just seen.
Hold the fuck up, dude. Hold the fuck up. We're talking about a mentally ill man beating the shit out of an old Asian woman. Drew's first sentence. It's funny.
Well,
look, he is the true horror.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
I'm sorry. As soon as I heard that, thank God you cleaned that one up, because I was like, well, fucking Twitter's been good, man. Fucking, we're done.
HR meeting 5 minutes into the show.
No, they can. Like, you guys already know, like 90% of the accounts on there can kiss the hole on the tip of my dick. Like, but
that's a good way to get viewers, man. Thanks.
But you know, if you're listening to this, you must then believe that you're part of the 10% of cool accounts. I mean, that's just facts. I mean, if you're listening to this,
if the glove fits.
The reverse true Scotsman. I see what you're doing there.
Right. It's the reverse true Scotsman. The listener should feel free to imagine, you know, that they are part of an in-group while listening, and that everyone who isn't listening is part of an out-group. You definitely are afforded that privilege as a listener of our fine program.
And just our fine program.
You are the dancing queen.
But no, most of the replies were racially motivated, and it was mostly
really?
Yes, and I felt like
racially motivated responses on the internets.
Yes, and I felt like that they were probably responding to each other to try to refute that more than they were actually examining the incident itself.
Hang on, let me fight this racism with a little bit of bigotry.
You know how I can fight anti-Asian hate, don't you? If I say the N-word.
Yeah. I mean, every modern day Blue Lives Matter guy synonym for the N-word was in those replies.
Of course it was. Why wouldn't it be?
Why not?
It was one of those things where my vision just starts to like blur around the edges, and I have to go look at like, you know, a thread about like cats or something.
You should never have to look up threads of cats. They're the devil's creature.
They are. They're significantly worse than dogs.
Yeah.
I like them. I like all animals. They're way better than people, generally speaking. But like,
we're hitting the fascism now.
Yeah, might as well.
Maybe we just don't do that. Damn it! This is what I want to avoid, man. Let's just make funny jokes about True accidentally saying it's funny to beat up Asian women. Let's not actually go to where you're like, we'll just kill all people. It'll be fine. Then it's not racist.
It's the lack of any kind of
Just because one thing is better than another does not mean you need to destroy the worst thing.
Oh no. So if you've been checking in on Moby's
Enforcement.
Twitter feed,
oh
as in
god.
the music artist from 90s, Moby.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
So it looks like Cenk has been checking in on him quite a bit because I would like to read
Cenk.
you all this tweet. I would like to read you all this tweet. A reminder. In a vegan world, there would be no pandemics. 100%
Jesus.
of pandemics are zoonotic in origin.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
sure,
but-
why not?
But
Yeah,
hold on,
sure.
wait a
That
second.
doesn't make
because-
any fucking sense, but sure,
Wait,
why not?
so we're gonna kill all the animals, so everybody has to be vegan. Good job, Moby. Way to out Hitler us.
Moby.
All right.
Moby.
I want to be clear, I still don't have a Twitter. Not one that's actively used in any case.
But the inverse of this is if you think that all cultures should be vegan no matter what, you're actually doing a cultural imperialism.
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
so choose your fighter. Choose your fighter. We're gonna move from piece of discourse to piece of discourse tonight. Cenk, what's your answer to that? And why are you a cultural imperialist?
I am not a cultural imperialist. I agree. Assuming that everyone must be vegan is cultural imperialism. I have chosen my fighter.
Interesting. I'd like to defend Mr. Moby, if I may, to be, if I might be.
Were you ready to
contrary.
say that sentence at the beginning of the night?
Was I? Yeah. Fucking Moby rock, dude. Guys, that guy's bald dick looks like the head. That guy's bald head looks like the tip of my dick. There's where I wanted to go with that. He looks like a penis. And as somebody who loves his penis and loves that a man would decide to walk around in public as his penis, I can't help but at least try to defend him. Clearly, what Moby means is that once we've eradicated all edible animals, we will no longer have to worry about zoonotic diseases. Furthermore,
Sure, why not? Let's go for it.
furthermore, once we've killed most pestilent insects, we won't have to worry about that shit either. And I, for one, think perhaps that bees are overrated.
Yeah. Yep.
Moby and
So,
I agree.
Are you
Fuck
saying you're fans of wasps?
the bee. Yeah, I am clearly the waspiest one here. I think my record stands for itself.
Does it?
Now, let's discuss the idea that wanting to eradicate all animals across the world, despite anybody else's protest, or the morality of just wantonly murdering an animal, might come across as culturally imperialist. What even is cultural imperialism? I can't
It's
be
probably
conquered by MSNBC.
it's probably the name of a new Moby album if one ever comes out. It's probably just called Cultural Imperialism.
Yes, which means you've merely violated his intellectual property and you owe him money.
It's like a close up of a sheep's eyeball with like a big tear. It's the cover. Moby.
I listened to that album, and I probably think it's okay.
Moby, Richard Moby, last name. What happened, man? What happened?
Moby Gear.
I would swear that it was.
He-
I would swear.
He's solving the fucking pandemic problem. One
It's-
hamster up his ass at a time.
It's a tragedy what happened with this guy. I would swear that it was just now 1998 and I'm sitting in some basement hovel getting stoned, skipping school and listening to an 8-minute song called like God Moving Over the Face of the Waters or something. That sounds like some bougie white kid had a crush on on electronic music and was gonna just try his hand at it for about 8 minutes. And I'm sitting there thinking, this guy's gonna be somebody someday. And like I was right, but holy fuck, holy fuck. You give a guy a little bit of money and he goes around and tells a story about putting his dick on Donald Trump's hand at a party or something? Like, what the fuck?
Did Moby say he rubbed his dick on Donald Trump?
He did. It was a weird moment.
Okay, so again, as if I may defend Moby a moment, we're absolutely alpha cucking Mr. Donald Trump.
I believe that was
I
his premise, but
understand that in a dignified world, what he did might be considered raping Donald Trump. And that legally speaking, the man should be tried for sex crimes if Donald Trump feels comfortable enough about talking about the whole affair.
for doing penis-style colonial imperialism in another
Yeah, but
person's
he
space.
never knew
Yes.
he never knew an allegation he didn't like.
That's true. It's funny that's the one he chose to hide, so that makes me think it's true, and Donald Trump is a victim. So now let's discuss how attacking Donald Trump is against the Me Too movement. Because now we're getting to some fucked up territory. Moby really did rape Donald Trump.
Give me a time. Give me a time. Give me a length of time that we've been on the air till you said that.
What's that? That Moby raped Donald Trump and we should be more
Yes.
considerate of his feelings?
What is it?
25
Is it
minutes in. Yeah, I told you tonight getting weird. I kind of like it.
Beautiful.
Yes. So, John,
Chef's
what's your
kiss
take
emoji.
on that? How would you like to respond to the allegation that Moby has raped Trump, therefore Trump is a survivor and attacking him is not believing women? It's equivalent
I
to
did
that.
see some stuff where like there was like a bunch of hand wringing about those like stupid statues people were putting up of Trump where he was naked and had like a real small dick or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So there-
right.
Yeah, there was a lot of discourse because they were like, well, these notions of like masculinity reinforce him acting like hyper masculine or whatever. And my only reaction to that was like I don't know, aren't you like policing how people process trauma, or like at least in your like worldview or whatever of it? And that's one of the things about those back and forths that I never get, is just that like if you open an umbrella of inclusivity and victimhood to be as wide as possible, then like everybody necessarily qualifies in certain capacities for those different things.
Yeah.
And like all that's left is for you to like organize that hierarchically, because that's the only way you're able to actually sort through like important aspects of each thing. And it just strikes me as being, I don't know, like obviously you need to do it because it's important to like make sure that like you actually are doing material analysis without a blind spot. But like I don't know if there's like a line or something like that. I can never come to those conclusions.
Well, like
But
a lot
anyway,
of the statues and balloons and like all the different stuff where he's like a baby with a baby dick and everything. Like a lot of that stuff, it was done during a time period where people felt like that they weren't just doing art, but they were also kind of doing harm reduction. People felt like he would be vulnerable on some level to that sort of psychic attack that might later prevent him from doing all of the bad stuff. And of course, we found out that he was not even mildly remotely vulnerable to any of that shit. Like he hates it and he probably has a little baby fit about it to somebody from time to time, but it didn't interfere with his internal compass that always guided him right to Trump shit. Right? Like he didn't, he didn't consider like the consequences of his actions or anything when he saw the Trump baby balloon. He just, muttered like disgusting or something like that and went right back to like eating a gross steak or whatever.
No, I mean that's the thing about it. That's the thing I would say about it, is mostly that like I think that like those criticisms are right in the sense that like I don't know how worth it is to do that insofar as like it really doesn't accomplish much of anything.
Yeah,
so, like,
we definitely,
in the sense that like they're like you shouldn't do it, like I don't disagree necessarily with that. Like actually that kind of makes sense on some level, but like maybe some of the reasoning wasn't like 100% there. But anyway, this shit with Moby, like putting his dick in Trump's hand or whatever, I don't even know what that is. That just sounds funny.
that wasn't a psychic attack. That was more of a direct attack.
Like, I'm sorry. Look, that does. I don't know. Like, here's the thing about why I think that's funny. I think anybody who does that, anybody who would go about doing that, either knows the person well enough that they know that person would just find it funny or whatever. So, like, does that suggest that Moby was like really good friends with Donald Trump, or they're like deranged, right?
Yeah.
In which case, I don't know. I'm not gonna like police somebody who is of course, I'll say it. Anybody who would do something like that probably has something wrong with them, which means that I shouldn't police what they're doing.
Right. We should be thankful he's been doing albums all these years instead of just walking around with his pecker hanging out. Correct.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what, Dan? I would say, why is your answer to whether or not Moby can do that to Trump ableist? Because it is.
Fuck.
That's using the weight of your opponent against you. That's the rhetorical judo.
That's the way to shut everything down. Because I gotta ask you this: if you think coming at me like that is correct, why are you doing ableism to a man with dyslexia and a bad spine?
I'm dyslexic too.
Okay, so why are you doing it to somebody with a bad spine? See what I did there? I divided out the common disability and reduced it to further ableism. Because I am the master of pedantic rhetoric that hides a deep, deep dishonesty and disdain for
It literally has his name in it. Pedantic.
pedantic.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Hold on. Let's back this up because I can make this more pedantic too. Let me ask you this.
Oh, pedantic fight amongst Jews. There we go. Let's
Did
fucking
you
go.
get
no way
diagnosed
that's
with
productive.
dyslexia at school from an actual school psychologist?
Yeah.
Oh, I did too. All right, I wasn't sure because like a lot of people actually just say they're
Where do you
dyslexic.
think they find the diagnosis?
Well, a lot of people self-diagnose, and this actually does bring into another aspect of this sort of disabled discourse. I think we're just doing disabled
No,
discourse
I
tonight.
feel like they were just passing those out like candy. Like, hey, now you're disabled.
They were handing out ADHD
Yes.
diagnoses like candy. That was the thing they were handing out like candy.
Yeah.
They didn't hand out the dyslexic one because you couldn't give the kid drugs for that, and that's like a whole other subject. But yeah, so with dyslexia, or
You can't
excuse
tell
me,
me what I can and can't do.
a lot of people self-identify as dyslexic because they like, I don't know, they like read shit wrong and they think that makes them
He's been telling
dyslexic.
kids for years that they're dyslexic and then giving them some.
Oh, he's been pulling a good Gates 1-2 special.
Yeah. Here
Well,
you go, kid. I know you're dyslexic. This weed'll help.
Yeah. Let's go get drunk at my daddy's fucking office. He's a sheriff.
Okay, no, speaking of pedantry, I had to pedantically go check this thing and make sure that I wasn't misremembering this due to like brain damage from Hell World. No. Moby, quote, rubbed his penis on Donald Trump at a New York party. Quote, luckily he didn't seem to notice
Quote.
or even twitch. Okay, so yeah,
Can you title the book?
Jeez.
I
So
knew
it's
it was there.
it's Moby telling the story, but as you surmised, it was at a party and make it seem like maybe they were just palling around or what. You know, guy stuff.
Whoa.
That's
Dudes
what I
rock.
do with all of my guy
Dude.
friends.
Guy love between two guys.
Oh
He
yeah,
looked-
I
he
mean like
he looked him deeply in the eyes.
working on this podcast with you guys across this great distance, I mean, it destroys my heart like every weekend. I mean, like, we've never rubbed our penises on each other, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
It's normal
It just-
behavior.
there's
Speak
this
for yourself.
gulf between us that is just not between me and other men, and I don't know how to get around that. I mean, like, the internet sucks, man. The plague sucks. This is hard.
Yep. We did the live show and it was hard. And
I mean,
that's
it's
what-
really, really
Stop.
hard. I have to rub it on somebody.
Well, this is getting weird.
Like, it hurts.
There's a whole audience.
Everybody
Just rub it on the
hurts
audience.
sometime.
There it is.
And everybody hurts. How do I? Man,
Oh
how-
no, that's the other bald guy. That's the other guy.
That's the guy from REM. Yeah,
They look exactly the same.
yeah, they
That
kind of do.
drink starts with an earthquake, and then I rub my dick in my friend Trump's hand.
In my mind, I just put Moby seamlessly into the night swimming video, just like it's just perfectly. I envisioned it perfectly. That's from the adjacent timeline. That's from like one of the Stephen King timelines.
Yeah.
So
sure.
the piece of discourse that I was gonna get to is the self-diagnosed versus officially diagnosed thing, and this actually I do find pretty interesting as far as this stuff goes, because the question becomes, if somebody is self-diagnosed,
Yeah.
does that diminish the how do I put it?
Give them diminished capacity to be able to be a dick on the internet.
Well, here's the question is, if somebody is self-diagnosed, and they speak about their lived experience, but they don't have an official medical diagnosis for their particular disability, are they muddying the waters of the discourse by not having an official diagnosis, because they might be contributing aspects of their lived experience that are not truly part of X, Y, or Z disability? And why is your answer, of course, ableist? Because
As
if
always,
you
why is your answer ableist?
because if you were to say yes to that, if you were to say that somebody should not claim through self-diagnosis a particular type of disabled identity, you would disregard the fact that many people cannot get the diagnosis they need because they can't see a medical professional frequently enough to receive that diagnosis, or they put it off because of various reasons we all know that we need single-payer healthcare for. You know, where's how do you resolve that tension? And similarly, if somebody has an official diagnosis and they're rich, then they can just go see doctors ad nauseum until a doctor gives them whatever
the
diagnosis they're hunting
they
for.
want. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why is any of your answers to this bad and mean you're a bad person?
Well,
I'll open it to the floor.
Okay. Obviously, what we have is a fight between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. And the simple way to solve it is to eradicate all members of the bourgeoisie.
We're gonna say eradicate all members
I
of the
knew it.
proletariat.
Yeah. And then they won't be around to like create these structures and tell us that we have to, you know, worry about which situation it was. Then we'll just be able to what did you say at the opening of the show, sir? To just let it play out in the streets.
You forgot the bootlicking.
Yeah.
What about the bootlicking?
No,
What's the
I got a good one. I got one that
Hmm.
makes me super fucking ableist. Okay.
Sure.
It could vary by situation and personal experience, how you feel about it. Like, okay, like out of all the possible conditions that could be considered here, I've got a close relationship with someone who is autistic and like nonverbal.
Okay.
Pretty functional in every other regard, but nonverbal. So like for me, like I wouldn't want to ever interrupt any of the discourse, no matter how trite, no matter even if they were claiming to, you know, that they weren't quite there, maybe medically or whatever. Because for me, I'm always thinking like one of them is going to say some shit that's actually useful. Like, well, I was nonverbal until this, you know, magical thing happened, or I tried this, or I did this program or whatever. So like, because I have a close personal relationship with someone who's autistic, if it's about that, I want to hear all about it. But then I think that would be an ableist answer in that sense, right? Like I'm making these divisions. I'm saying, oh, you know, this is fine, but then not this, not this. The whole spectrum of all the possible conditions a person could have is really what makes it so fucking staggering to try to confront like what you should do in this situation, and definitely how you could possibly have an opinion on it. I think that was what's so terrible to me about seeing the replies to it. Just, you know, instantly devolved. The posts I saw, all the replies instantly devolved to just racial shit slinging.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I do, you know, not the only messed up aspect of that situation, but I do think one of the worst aspects of that situation is they decided to like charge and get mad at the like staff who was inside the hotel who watched it happen.
Oh yeah.
And who was like completely vindicated that when someone did finally run after the guy, he pulled a knife out.
Yeah.
Like, no, that is absolutely not your responsibility to
Oh,
fucking
you're
get
absolutely
involved
right,
with that. That's fucked up to even think
A
that.
bellhop said to a doorman, "See, man, I fucking told you. Not for no $10 an hour. Fuck that." Like two guys said that to each other right when he pulled the knife. You know that happened.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's not worth your
Nope.
life.
Not today.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good on dying, thank you.
Everybody was like, the guy that said "not today." Everybody was like, "Oh, what a jerk! Oh, that's so mean." And then later, the knife came out, and they were all like, "Well, I probably wouldn't have." Yeah.
Well, now it's well, that's okay. You just did an anti-Asian racism to avoid doing a racist ableism.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
I understand though, like, okay, what was it we were talking about the many episodes ago, the 5 animal styles of modern politics, right? Like it isn't that you know all 5 styles. You got to be able to switch styles, so you can take the enemy's momentum, right, and you
Yeah.
can just kind of catch that blow and change it from
Racist Shaolin.
yes.
Yeah.
You got it. It's
Thank
just
you.
it's
Y'all
just like
thought I
Bruce
was
Lee
an
says.
asshole. Y'all thought I was an asshole for proposing that we all study racism Shaolin, and
Yeah.
yet,
It's the 5 animal styles of identity politics. It see, in the replies, all those amateurs just went straight for the fucking, fist of racism, like just immediately.
yeah,
But what you have to do is you have to hide that blow. It must be the hidden blow that comes later after you've already drawn them into your web of like ableism.
yes, it's the ultimate win. That's it.
I've
Ableism
cornered
is the
you.
ultimate
You're
win.
using. I've cornered you.
kind
You
of
have no
is.
logic left. There's nowhere to go. What are you gonna do? Get the hope. God damn it.
You fool! The standards of decency do not apply to Coffee Spoonie.
Your trap has failed.
Trap has failed. You can be as
You were actually in
indecent
her
and selfish
trap
as
all
fuck.
along.
Yeah, it's her
Ooh.
world. We just fucking have to deal with it.
That's what's up. You're
Yeah.
kind of right though. Okay, like ableism really is like sort of the last and ultimate frontier,
Mhm.
because you could take that concept and expand it outwards to where it kind of covers so much of everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm any kind of person who's disadvantaged or treated less than everyone else for any reason, there's an argument tucked in there that that makes it I'm unable to do some things, right?
I'm going
Right.
to take my continued position with this character that I've never heard of and literally never interacted with or seen. Continue that my position remains. Sometimes that reason is you're just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
well, as John said it best, not everything's about you, god damn it.
Well,
Yeah,
Timmy,
sometimes it's about that other person who's being a fucking asshole.
Timmy, when a little asshole meets a female asshole, and they have assholes together, then they have little assholes,
Yeah.
and then those little assholes grow up, and they become them, the people you're talking about, complete
Yeah.
assholes.
Dude, I'm tearing up this DK2, by the way.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me go look. I haven't even looked.
Don't look.
No.
Believe me without evidence. Yeah. Fucking.
I imagine it's hilarious to watch.
I mean, it's definitely rough. Come in and
I mean, it's
say hello to Grandpa.
much cooler that it has our audio over it, of course, but it's a shame about the music. The music in that thing fucking owns.
Yeah. I don't need any of this shit. I'm just collecting bandit coins for no fucking reason. The fuck?
Just cause.
Because
Just 'cause.
because we're grown-ups now. We can play it however we want. We don't have to just run to the end. They can't make us.
I can't make
We
it.
can look for
I'm just
weird
gonna-
little
I'm just gonna
glitches
hang
and
out. I'm just gonna hang out on this rhino.
play with the animation, if we want to. We're adults now.
Yeah. Oh no, I died. Oh no. I'm just gonna
There's
do
a
it again.
whole lot of beaver in that game.
There's a whole lot of beaver. Find the token, dude.
I don't know. I just. As always, there's no answer we can possibly give that's not going to be ableist. So I'm going to pick the one that makes me feel good. And
Fair
sometimes
enough.
I feel like Coffee Spoonie's just being a fucking asshole.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you were the one who was
did you vote?
tripling down on her being.
Oh, I'll
like
fucking
powerful.
quintuple down. You watch me. Give me like more opportunities to triple down on this shit.
But did you vote? It's important. It's imperative that you vote.
I did vote.
Just recently was the most important election of our lifetimes.
Yeah. You know what I loved about Coffee Spoonie was like, this bitch is always has a fucking answer for everything. That's always like basically like my farts don't stink and you are literally covered in your own feces, right? And then when it
Yep.
came time for the election, she's like, miss me with that shit. Like, this is the perfect time for you to go off on a massive fucking discourse about how Trump is openly ableist, but Biden is secretly ableist, and it's beneath you to fucking have to pick between two ableists. Like, this was your moment to shine, and you fucking wash it off with a goddamn King of the Hill meme. Like, listen, asshole, if you're gonna be this way, you fucking owe us the content. You fucking owe it to us at that point. You don't get to just cop out with, I don't have the energy to deal with it. You shut up. You have the energy to fucking scream. I was like, what? Because they're rich? And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe one of them will give me a chance with my 5,000 Twitter followers and my fucking Substack that has 10 people on it. You know, maybe one of them will give me a chance, so I better not piss them off. Go to hell. You booze bitch. Like, fucking
They do
classic.
think that way. They think that if they haven't already been selected to be like Barry Weiss or whatever,
Yeah.
that that Bill Maher will eventually get bored of like having Barry Weiss on her and like staring dreamily at her as if she was like the fucking second coming for some reason. Like they all think that like being a Twitter personality really is a platform that connects to that larger world of the truly rich and the truly successful.
Yeah.
But it comes down to whether or not they like you, man. It's not they don't like a bunch of weird kids that like to post or whatever.
No.
They like people that worship them and like the old ideology of what they are, like Barry Weiss. Like that's who they like. They don't like us.
No, they don't. And like that's the part. And like I don't know. I can't wait for Coffee Spoonie to weigh in. Is all I'm saying. I can't wait to find out how
She'll-
we're all wrong about our ableism or whatever.
She's
Like,
gonna do exactly what you said. She's gonna preen and perform for somebody that she thinks is the direct next peg above her in that world, and then be totally ignored and shit upon because she is where she is below them as a result of being exactly that much more weird, alienated, and meaningless than them. Like it's like a perfect ascending line, right? Like she's not gonna somebody like that. She would have to totally pivot. She would have to show up one day on TikTok and do like a funny impression of someone everyone hates. And then all of a sudden people would be like, "Oh wow!" Like, and maybe she would get up a few more pegs, but without changing styles. This one will forever wander in the boring beginning part of a Shaw Brothers movie where you fight a bunch of weak guys and you never get to meet anybody named like Thunderleg or Ironhead or anything.
pussy face.
Like that's never gonna happen for her.
No.
It's hard to keep it with these animal styles of Shaolin here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about those old movies all the time. I don't even know which one it is. It might be one of the Jackie Chan ones where he was supposed to be drunk all the time. But there is a guy called Thunderleg, and he comes out and he's like immediately shows you his leg. Like he literally props his leg like up on a piece of furniture and like runs his arm down it like a game show host showing a prize. And he's like, "They call me Thunderleg," and he's showing you his leg. Like those movies were so fucking dope.
They really did rock. I want to watch Shaolin Soccer and find out why that's ableist.
It's extremely ableist, I'm sure. I'm just guessing. I haven't seen the Stephen Chow
Holy
stuff in a
shit.
long time. But
I
I'm just
found the
guessing
movie that I've seen. I
they're-
have seen Shaolin Soccer.
It wasn't it excellent.
So
Is
good.
that a fucking visionary filmmaker or what?
I
It was.
want her discourse to become anybody who has legs in a movie is being ableist.
Oh yeah, Thunderleg would be top on the list.
Yeah.
She would
Anyone
watch
who isn't
whatever old
riding
kung fu
around on a
movie that is.
rascal and shouting obscenities at people who can walk is an ableist.
Yeah. That's what I want.
What is a good slur for people that can walk? Like, like that's what we need
Mobile.
to reason out here.
Mobile.
Walker.
Yeah.
Walkies, standies. Yeah, we need some more. You know what we need? We need some more. That's how we solve ableism. Is we just come up with slurs for people who can walk, like armies. If you have arms, you're an army.
There you go. Yeah.
Fucking
No,
army.
this is it.
Walkers, they're walkers.
Yeah.
This is the solution to ableism: is just slurs for everybody who has these abilities
Yeah.
to do these things.
Can you walk, you fucking army? just
No,
incredible.
It needs more negativity. It needs like like trotter or like skipper or
Yeah.
like the way
You
that
see
you
zombie
walk sucks.
costumes.
Nothing is hitting as hard as the my favorite anti-ableist slur breeder.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, your sperm works, fucking breeder. You
fucking
does your egg work, you fucking breeder? You breeding?
you fucking bees, you fucking rabbits, fucking bunnies.
I just think I love that insult because that's where the incels are like, we found solidarity with somebody. People who don't want to have kids. The only other people who would fucking tolerate us.
I'm still thinking of how the slurs for the people that walk are like. It's not just negative, like just to,
Teeter-totters.
It's negative towards the concept of walking.
Yeah.
It's like trudgers or like
Shamblers.
like they're stupid for doing it or it sucks to do. One of those two
Fucking leggy.
things.
Creepers.
We all do sort of experience that when we see someone walking on the side of the highway while we're driving.
Yeah,
Because
and
your
if you-
first thought is like, what's wrong? What went wrong in their life that they're walking along the highway now?
Right.
Yeah.
If you think about it, we all prefer other modes of transportation when possible, especially for long distances. So like you put yourself in that mindset. Like a guy walking along, I mean, he sucks. He's a God damn it.
He's a trudger.
Yeah, he's a
man.
trudger. Yeah.
a trudger.
Fucking trudger. How do you like that? How do you like this? We went to we're in Slur Town now, son.
We're in slur country here.
We can't.
I already was.
We need to turn
to be-
back. This is Slur Country.
To be fair, I already was in slur country, but like these are different slurs. This is a change of slurs for me.
How many of them get to how many people in your area get to remain like still the people who get to say the slur once we shift it to the ableist ones?
Well, like, okay, most of them not, because like that's the other thing. Like, there's a weird crossover between issues like Medicare for All or the war or whatever. Like, because there is a shitload of people down here that
Metal
are
Gear for all.
Metal Gear for all.
Yes, that's a very popular policy. It's actually already passed, so it's that's what they're doing now. That's what Joe and Kamala is. It's just going to be straight Metal Gear from here on out. They're having like ninjas teleport into the Oval Office and having weird conversations about genes and les enfants terribles and stuff. Like it's over. It's already happening. Really, Metal Gear for all. That's
Man.
this administration.
John, you'd know this. How much discourse is there about the fact that Snake looks at Meryl's panties?
I mean, there's a lot of people who there are a lot of people who like hate Kojima and say that Kojima is like super sexist, and there was like, I wouldn't say there was discourse over that whole thing with Quiet, just that like people were like, this is like on its face terrible, and like the idea that he like took it seriously because he did try to like present Quiet as being like a super character or whatever,
Yeah.
because of all this shit with photosynthesis, and he was like, yeah, you guys, because like, you know, people were criticizing how she looked, and Kojima came out and was like, yeah, you guys are gonna cry when you hear about how tragic her backstory is, I guarantee it, because he really thought like, oh yeah, no,
I completely
I
see
got
what
the
you're saying.
SJWs with this one, because they're gonna, you know, no,
I
but like,
completely see what you're saying, because there's another moment where it's a heavy trope, but there's another moment where he thinks he owned them, where somebody try to grope her and then she just savagely cuts his throat like instantly.
I don't remember that scene. It's been a while since I played that game, but like the main thing is like, or excuse me, it hasn't actually been that long since I played the game, but it's been a long time since I played the game and watched the cutscenes. So, yeah, I'll say this much about it. Like, I do think to some extent the SJW side of the leftist like online critique of video games criticizes some of the stuff that comes from Japanese developers,
Yeah.
but ultimately it kind of rides up against a wall eventually, because there's just, in my opinion, there's just too much of a difference between our cultures, And the stuff that comes out of Europe and America, there's way more of it than the stuff that comes out of Japan. And like we have more of a cultural context to critique anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could make an argument that like the online right interacts with Japanese stuff a lot more than other people, and that like this stuff still affects Americans, and we can still be like critical of the stuff that comes out of Japan. But
Right.
in terms of quote unquote holding accountable any of these Japanese developers or whatever, we're just kind of out of luck because we're really not their market for the most part. Like they pay like whatever infrastructure cost there is to localize that shit, and they live with the consequences because they can sell all their shit in Japan.
Like
So
if you compare it to the Western things that he himself said he was aping, like okay, like he's all like, oh, I love James Bond. Well, James Bond is way more of a misogynist than Snake, for God's sakes, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'll end with saying that like with that kind of critique, I just think that once you go across to Japan, it just like as insofar as a lot of the feminist critique is basically just consumer advocacy, there's only so much consumer advocacy you can do for like a foreign company who you aren't their primary market for or
Yeah.
whatever. There just is. There's just I don't think it can. I don't think it can go far enough to actually like affect change on that front. Though, I mean, if you say like there are problems with like the way Kojima depicts women or whatever, like I would agree. But like I don't know, give it a couple years with our declining birth rate and see if we don't do some weird shit like that eventually too.
Well,
Yeah.
Because Dan talked about this a bunch, but your theory is that a lot of the stuff that's super horny that comes from Japan is because they like need people to have kids like now.
Yeah, you gotta have people horny.
yeah, if there's a big room where they're like, we got to solve this population thing, with this birth rate thing, and there's a big lever on the wall that says amount of porn, like if you don't pull that lever down, you're gonna like look like a bunch of assholes when things don't work out, right?
Yeah.
Like that's gonna go on your fucking report for that job. Like if you're supposed to be solving that problem and you didn't pull the porn lever at least a little bit, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
Jesus.
Let me just pull the porn lever a little bit.
Oops, too far.
You know, I'm curious. Has the right been like? Has the right judo flipped? Has the right judo flipped to being like all the online SJW shit does far more to demonize Japan because they demonize Japan's cultural products? Are they just not that smart?
Like they got so fired up during the Gamergate era, and Sarkeesian was punishing them with those videos and shit. Like they got so fired up by just having no argument against expanding different types of video games to maybe not all be like that. They had no argument against that. In the end, they lost. Video games got SJW as fuck, and it led to a lot of interesting new stuff that had never been in video games before, and
Absolutely.
and completely misogynist, insane, big titty fantasy video games totally still exist and are in fact better and more widely available than ever.
Yep.
So like they were refuted into another dimension as far as how hard their argument was destroyed about video games. They just completely reacted like that didn't even happen. Like,
Well, because it's entirely meaningless. It's taking the problem is like, you know, it's right that the depiction may not be applicable to all women, and it's right that it may not be entirely tasteful all the time if I'm going to give them any due, which I've already given them more than they deserve.
yeah.
But the problem is like the feminist critique still comes with the fatal flaw of presuming that culture comes taught like top down instead
Right.
of that it comes around the people you interact with or the lack of interacting with people.
Yeah, in that era, like pre-Trump and everything, like late Obama, like yeah, it was totally this question of like, if these games were different, wouldn't that have a good effect? Like, totally, you know, that's not a thing, but it still definitely had an overall positive effect. I mean, my God, I mean, I even would say that even if no game developers ever thought about any of that shit, like the videos are still good to watch. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple of them that are just like a collection of all the weird female like things, like Birdo from Mario 2 with the fucking bow, and there's a whole one about the bow, Miss Pac-Man with the bow and the lipsticks and shit. Literally an arcade machine that released with just a round Pac woman, like, but then had sexy lady legs coming out of the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Like that was this. Oh god, those are good to watch, even in a world where they would, change nothing. Like there was nothing that good.
I do want to say that those videos are actually like really important in my like journey to the left or whatever. Like those had a great impact on me. Also, I think I'm like one of the few people who was actually just straight up convinced by them, because I feel like apparently like most of the people that watched that video just like viscerally hated it. Apparently.
Right.
That's something which I don't understand at all, but like was apparently the reaction to it. And I don't understand it all insofar as I can't imagine watching that video and being super mad. That's the thing that I don't understand about it.
You know this feeling.
So,
you get to the end,
not only do I find this video wrong, but I'm angry about it.
I don't understand
this bitch.
Yeah, it's
Like-
it's just a reaction to nostalgia versus late capitalism. Like that's why they mad. But like,
And I do think that like it was the first moment of like this sort of culture war completely manifesting itself online, and it was the thing that set off the cultural like brain poisoning that we experience constantly now at a completely accelerated like breakneck rate.
yeah.
Because the thing about Gamergate that makes it so interesting and as something that's historically important is that now we have a similar incident to Gamergate in the course of a week, like every week.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Gamergate took place over the course of like almost a year and a half, I think. It was a very long period of time that it took for all of it to come to fruition. And now it just constantly happens in this churning cycle all the time. So that I think it's important to know because of that. I think that many of the points Sarkeesian made were correct and were a good sort of introduction toward thinking systemically, but ultimately came up as like, okay, but the only action to take is like to just be better consumers.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially the conclusion that she comes to. And insofar as she's a 501c or she operates a 501c that like obviously relies on donations from PMC people, because look, you look at her the money she brings in for her organization or whatever, like who's donating? It's like what's the ratio of PMC to non-PMC? Like 100-1, something nuts like that. So like, she's not going to come to any super radical conclusions as a result of that. I mean, she mimes at them. I actually listened to the podcast that she runs, and she's like pretty obviously a sock dem. So there's that at least, but that's not exactly like a massively radical conclusion to come to, especially if you spend all that time in the theory that she does. Regardless, her ultimate conclusion is to just buy things better or gooder.
Yeah, consumption of the masses is what, that like, again, it falls apart at some point. Does it hold up better than the pigs who are just like, oh my god, you can't take away my fucking late capitalist nostalgia. It's literally all I have in life. Yeah, obviously it is, but like the minute you turn to the mass and be like, it's your fault that this is happening, like, kind of, but that's because, like, why? Well, the bourgeoisie have set up a system where that's what the masses know to do, and that's
even though their apocalypse didn't. Oh yeah. Even though their apocalypse, it didn't come to pass at all. Yeah, they totally just fantasized this big oppression thing happening to them. Like, it totally didn't happen. Like, okay, like we're on this streaming platform. I know of a streamer you could go watch play Street Fighter V right now, and every single time is gonna pick the biggest, tittiest, most ridiculous character, and even maybe dress like them. Now, caveat: the streamer is a drag queen. Like, I love to imagine them just bursting into tears at that moment when they realize that they've lost culture completely and drinking their tears. I do love the taste of their tears, but like their thing, it did not come to pass at all. Like there is no shortage of. Weren't we, you guys, last night after the show talking about the difference between narrative style video games, which could be critiqued in this fashion, as Sarkeesian did, the difference between those and just sort of like games as a platform that we're just going to sell a bunch of assets for, like the thing that's gradually kind of taking over. Didn't we hit this last night after the show, or was I just like in a post-show daze from the subject matter of the show? The subject matter of the show was dark. I was affected.
It was bad last night.
Traumatized.
But
Oh, I had a
yes,
blast.
but I but no, I'm just saying, like, okay, one of the best places for them to continue to get this type of content is games as a platform. Like, if you go look up Skyrim modders and stuff like that on YouTube,
Yeah.
like, they've literally pumped that thing full of, like, all the most high-tech skin textures and physics that you possibly can into plain old Skyrim, just as a platform to run around with, like, Frank Frazetta looking half-naked elf princesses and shit. Like, they did it themselves. They didn't wait around for some AAA company to say, oh, this is
we'll make you this.
right. Like, I'm supposed to remember the name of those 10 girls from Dead or Alive to jerk off to them. It's too complicated. It's too many of them. They're not different enough.
I completely agree. You know what? True, you brought me on board. There's too many Dead or Alive girls. There should be 3 in various flavors: strawberry, blonde, and black.
What I'm saying is that when AAA falls off to that level,
Purple.
to where they can't even do a proper shoujo harem type situation anymore, like when they fall off to that level, that's the most noble heroic thing you can do, right? You can solve your own problem. You can be these guys that have the modded out Skyrims, the modded out Fallouts, these guys that just have a Steam collection of all the hentai you can buy, just posted for everybody to see. Yep, that's what I'm playing. Yep, fuck you. Like, didn't those guys just go solve the problem while a bunch of other guys continued to hang around AAA and console and talk about how it wasn't going to be racy enough anymore? Like, isn't that the most pathetic, like, cowardly, fucking defeatist way to go about your life? I'm sorry. I just, I mean, my God, it's digital anyway, like there's no.
Didn't know we were going to be going there tonight, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah. What does
You got very specific directions, sir. Oddly specific directions.
I do agree though with that reaction of getting to the end of the Sarkeesian video and being like, wow, people are super mad about this. And then the next stage of that, where you go look at them saying that their thing is going to get destroyed. They're not going to get to have your thing. And you're sitting there and you're astonished and you're just like, you think there's not going to be more titillating sexy porn for a young male audience in America? You think that's not going to happen?
Well, that's because of
What?
porn wars of 2013. I mean,
I forgot about those.
all those pornographers were rounded up and murdered by the Christian left.
No, and I'll say this much. Of course, this is the tension at the heart of the ideology, which is that they can't. A lot of them spend so much time arguing with people, accusing them of being sexist, that they can't confront the reality that there are 2 arguments for the big titty porn that you described.
Not even just fun titillating stuff like that. They also made a big deal over this game Agony, which was a crowd-funded game that was supposed to be like a super realistic hell. And then the thing finally comes out, and the only thing edgy about it was that it was massively misogynist and had all these weird depictions of vaginas jumping out at you all the time. It wasn't good.
So what I would say is that they can't resolve the tension that the people who get really mad about this stuff, at least, they can't resolve the tension that they both make the argument that sex sells, and the reason that all of this stuff is in games is because games are for guys, and because of the fact that they're for guys, this kind of thing will be in it because that's how you get male attention to products like this.
Yeah.
Versus the success of something like The Last of Us 2, you can criticize the game all you want in terms of like how it holds up in terms of being like super. Is it really good or is it just okay or whatever, however you want to put it. However, the game sold very well.
Yeah.
And it had one of course the most pedantic dumb arguments about that thing was that you can't put a woman on the cover of a game that isn't sexy because then the game won't sell. Just like are you talking about like a fucking magazine? Are you talking about fucking? Are you talking about game covers for video games being like fucking Jugs magazine? Because that's basically anyway. It struck me as being a very dumb argument anyway. But still, that was an argument that was made absolutely refuted. And the fact of the matter is that you can't resolve the idea that you make an argument for the free market, justifying why the women are depicted in this very sexy way on one end, but then also can't conflict with the idea that a game that is more progressive and has a non-sexy woman on the cover can also be successful, because then the counter argument could also be, well, obviously people are buying it, so you're wrong about how the market works. And then you have to admit to yourself, well, no, I'm just being sexist. And a lot of them do just double back to, no, maybe being sexist is okay. A lot of them actually end up reaching that conclusion. Many of them can't, because many of them spend very long periods of time denying being sexist.
And yet it's always the conclusion they come to.
Yeah. No, that's also
No, it's not possible that there's different markets. It's not possible that girls buy as much games too, right?
Progressives don't buy video games.
Well, they're always a few years. The biggest publishers are always.
Who the bias, the one that's biased, and the whole problem is that it's the CEO, the boss's boss.
Oh yeah.
They ultimately sign off, and they are ultimately the ones picking the bullshit.
The fucking CEOs are all Principal Skinner. Is it me? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Yeah. The biggest publishers are always a few years behind too. Like okay, like the post-apocalypse thing, like how many does the love story does it have to be like post-apocalypse? If anything, it's shocking that it hasn't been reclaimed as more of a queer space. Like if you think about it, like
post-apocalyptic for girls, that would be actually quite interesting. There'd be like an apocalypse and everybody start getting catty.
Yeah.
That would be the game that would actually be published.
And then there's like werewolves, and it's like, oh yeah.
That would be the game that would actually be published. There would be a lot of dialogue branches.
I would watch that. I'd play that.
A lot of dialogue branches.
But no, if anybody has a marginalized identity of any kind, where they take a bunch of shit in regular normal society, isn't the post-apocalyptic space a great place to do a narrative where suddenly that person is just a person that you're happy to see coming over a hilltop?
You're forgetting that there's a creativity angle to it as well, because a lot of these things just don't exist without the love and passion of a particular person.
Oh
and
yeah.
The person with all the time that's going to put that effort in is going to be someone who clearly just wants to do some fantastical shit. Like they're just struggling along, trying whatever they want to try, and we're lucky to get anything, but especially they don't want to put their money down on some shit that like makes them think of anything remotely woke, because it challenges their masculinity.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'll still go back and hit Cyberpunk whenever they do an update. And as good as a lot of parts of it are, you can feel its like self-consciousness in the writing about like, okay, we're not going to get too woke. Look over here. This guy's a libertarian, and now he's going to have a line about how this sucks or whatever.
Like, bro, Cat Boys could go in any game, and it makes it more amusing.
Yeah. I was looking up old Cat Boys the other day.
How would this play out?
I was looking up Cat Boys from the old. It's like some old illustrator from Victorian ass England, like Gustave Doré and his buddies.
The original
used to like cut up like old shit. No, it's a different guy who was cutting up Dorré's stuff, because his stuff is like like the good shit, the Victorian shit, the fucking endless illustrations of fucking Dante's Inferno and shit. But it's these guys that are cutting his shit up to make like old English like stories and shit into like just cat boys. Just like dudes with cat heads going around talking to ladies with bird heads and shit. But it's from like, like 1920 or something. Like looking at that
Some
shit,
1920s furry shit.
I wouldn't know about any of this shit if that one dude hadn't set up all those bots to retweet a bunch of art on Twitter. And looking at all that shit, man, these guys were shit posters. Early visual artists. I'm saying early visual artists were shit posters that took like a week to get one post off, and then people would see it, and if they didn't get that reaction, it was right back to the drawing board. We're very spoiled now. We can just fire shit off whenever we think of it, see who's gonna laugh or think it's cool.
We can always get more shit post.
Yeah,
Just like
these
what
guys had to
Java.
brood over a fucking piece of canvas for like a fucking week.
And you guys complain about capitalism.
You complain.
How many
You hate
how many
capitalism.
cat boys were being ethically consumed under capitalism in the 1920s? Come on,
You
I want to hear it.
you hate capitalism, yet you post cat boys. Curious. Curious.
Cause it nerd art.
I just don't have
Oh,
a fucking
God.
retort. No, you know what I'm gonna say, like, I consume zero cat boys, so like, yeah, you got me. That thing I don't consume, capitalism sure has helped me out by providing more of it. That sounds like a fucking waste. Seems
I'm
like
gonna start sending you cat boys, just daily cat boys.
I will fucking report your ass, man.
The best.
I'll show you the joys of capitalism, pure authoritarianism.
The best legit. The best legit anime cat boy.
There.
Yeah.
It'll be when his kid is there and he just happens to open Facebook. Cat boy and dog, right in full glory.
Yep.
Yeah, if I gotta get through that shit, I'm gonna make it hurt.
The best legit non pornographic anime cat boy is Schrodinger from Helsing, from the good Helsing.
I thought you
Where
were
he's-
talking about actual Schrodinger.
No, he's that guy. But then also later, there's a guy named Schrodinger in an anime. he's a Nazi cat boy. I'll go ahead. He's like a little Nazi cat boy when the vampire Nazis are, carving a giant fucking pentagram into London
Come
and
on now,
laughing
we
about
all
it.
know it's Inuyasha.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about. Yeah, never mind. Okay, the dude from Helsing is pretty cool, but yeah, Inuyasha is probably the most emotionally gripping cat boy.
Cat boy. Yep.
Damn it, Inuyasha and Kagome, just fuck already.
Wait, hold on. Isn't Inuyasha a dog?
Don't pull a Matt Gates. And yes, Inuyasha's half dog.
Listen, it's canon. They have a kid now. There's a whole new show out that I haven't watched yet.
I know, and I need to watch it.
Maybe that's what's Matt Gates'
forgot
problem.
about that.
Yeah, I'm trying not to. Listen, I don't need to go. I don't need to revert that far back.
I'm waiting.
Just don't.
I'm waiting for the Sesshomaru groomed Rin fucking discourse.
I forgot about that guy.
I think that's the thing in the show. I
Yeah.
do, and I don't know how I feel about it.
It is a thing in the show because they have a kid and then Rin gets trapped. I'm fucking spoilers, anime dorks. Spoilers, bitches. She does live with him. She does grow up under his tutelage. They do have a kid together, and then she gets fucking murked, and it's like, this is
Classic fiction problem. Having ovaries.
Because
Gets
it's
murked
not
every
just
time.
Yep.
it's not just fun. It's not just fun pervert stuff. It's so dramatic, Like it's not just like the old man on Ranma, where he's a ninja, but he only uses his ninja powers to do perv shit.
Yeah.
Like always one of my favorite
Like all
character
ninjas
concepts.
would.
Yeah, it's always one of my favorite character concepts. Just a drawing of a person opening a panty drawer and he pops out with the panties on his head, like oh no, and he throws a smoke bomb or whatever. Just always one of my favorites.
I know they there's a website. This is what I love about libs, right? And this is really what you can tell about a lib because like this is the critical difference, right? A conservative revels in the filth. So conservative, like if their favorite thing is like problematic in any way,
I thought you said
they're
you weren't
like,
gonna be doing this
yes.
tonight.
What?
Thought you said you were gonna be doing the conservative.
I mean, come on, don't bust my balls on this, man. I'm about to catch fire. about to catch some fire here, right? So
Set fire.
or set some things on fire, whatever. You know,
Can I DK rap to get out
some
of it?
pubic hairs. Yeah.
You gonna rough them up, or you gonna do a cultural Marxism to them? Jordan
gonna-
Peterson's already in the hospital. Don't go too hard.
I'm gonna go so hard. I'm gonna put Jordan Peterson's ass back in Russian hospital.
Back in Russian hospital.
That bitch going down.
I'm gonna do so much cultural Marxism. I'm gonna put his ass right back on the fucking ICU.
So
I don't know what cultural Marxism is, but I'm ready.
Yeah,
for it. Let's go.
It rhymes
doesn't
with
exist.
you, boo. Henry and I are two. Get it? Getting it?
Yeah.
That's cultural Marxism. But
Yeah,
You don't know what it is because it doesn't exist. That's what Zizek said, and he was right. But
all right. So like motherfucking conservatives, right? If it's filthy and it's awful and it's problematic, conservatives are like that's what makes them come, right? That's what makes
Right.
them finish. You can't even begin
it's
to
bad.
get off. It's good because it's bad. It's bad and it
Yeah.
makes somebody feel bad, right? So they have to revel in it more and more and more. Now, how mundane it is, right?
Right. Own the libs to come. Yes.
The liberals, this is the liberal perversion, right? The liberal perversion. So the conservative perversion is obviously offensive sex for the sake of offensive sex, we'll say.
Right.
Right. So they that's the reason Matt Gaetz. They're like, Matt's a great guy. I don't know what you're talking about. It's
Doing what we all
precisely
wish we could do.
because of the pedophilia. They love sex offenders.
Yeah.
I
Matt
can't-
Gaetz is even more appealing now.
Yeah.
Yes. Like the minute they found out he's raped a child, they were like, "Ooh, Matt is looking kind of sexy." Right? Matt doesn't normally look sexy, but fucking that guy raped a kid, and I'm kind of horny for it. I'm here for it, you know.
Kind of a bad boy.
He's kind of a bad boy. He's kind of.
I'm gonna make
kind of
him
a
better.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
fix
can
him.
fix him.
They don't. No. See, there you go into that lib shit again. They don't want to fix him. They're like, oh, maybe he can hang out with my daughter then. Maybe he can hang out with my child.
I
Maybe-
wish you weren't saying literally what happened in Florida. I wish you weren't just like literally
Yeah.
saying.
What's going
'Cause,
on
like,
right this very minute?
Because before we knew about it, that's what was happening. Was he was going around, he was doing these things.
Yeah.
Sometimes people wouldn't know about them, but sometimes people had to fucking know about them. And then people were saying like, well, he just doesn't give a fuck. He's probably going to be like the 47th president. My daughter should definitely go work in his office.
My daughter should definitely have unprotected sex with Matt Gaetz because
Yeah.
he's going to be president, and I don't want her to have turned the president down.
Yeah, she could have a president baby.
Who cares that she hasn't gotten out of
I
fucking?
mean, sacrificing children, sacrificing your own children, same thing.
Yeah. This is the Christian atheism thing, man. These people are true believers, so they have to worship the devil. They have to be offensive, right? But liberals don't buy all that shit. So what liberals have to do to be able to do the same awful things, they have to be like, well, this is why it's problematic. See, I was just watching it. It's like all those women like Tipper Gore.
I
and
was just
shit.
masturbating furiously because it was problematic.
Well, I had to prove that it was problematic. I had
Listen,
to watch.
if I didn't watch it, I wouldn't know how problematic it was.
Exactly. I wouldn't know it was filth if I didn't make sure of it first. So I had to do it. It's guilt. It's the white guilt shit, man. I have to engage in the filth too because I like it too. That's my dirty secret, but I can't let people know that I'm dirty and unrighteous. So I have to justify it by saying, well, I had to prove it. I had to show and see. This is the proof because there's like this anime review website called My Favorite is Problematic, right? It's on something. It's not coincidentally an identitarian trans rights fucking page, right? A trans anime page. But that's all they do. They just show you how fucking bad their thing is. That way they can continue to enjoy it because they've performatively performed the white guilt of going, yeah, see, it's so bad. Ram on one half.
They've given their penance
Yes.
and done their Hail Marys.
Which then justifies the bad behavior. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the truth
we
of
have
it
to
all.
know about the shipping debate, for instance.
Yes.
Right? Like, we have to know about that, right? Like, they can't just have that debate as has been proposed in a sort of r/gulag, shall we say. Like, they can't just have...
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I've heard it proposed. These were some radicals that proposed it to me. Like, it's nobody we know, but I've heard it proposed. that perhaps they could just be banished eternally to like a locked Reddit thread. But that wouldn't be good enough for them.
No.
That's, to me, the proposition of r/Gulag gets right to the real thing, which is that they wouldn't get what they need to get without someone seeing it and without
Right.
someone saying, okay, your discussion over this is important. We do need to know, about this shipping, unless we see it, like they're not ready. They're not ready to finish. They're not approved to finish.
Right. They're never going to get permission to finish then because they don't have permission. You remember all those motherfuckers who at fucking in the middle of fucking the Black Lives Matter protests this year. They were fucking army, scores of white people getting down on their goddamn knees and licking black people's feet. I want you to tell me with a straight fucking face how that helped alleviate the material conditions that cause racism, or how that fucking changed a black person's life substantially, other than they were fucking orderly violated by some weirdo guilty white.
It must have been so hard to stand there and not just be like, yo, stand the fuck up and get your wallet out. Like, it must have been so fucking hard not to just rob that son of a bitch. Not to just be like,
I don't think, I don't, maybe we don't paint the Black Lives Matter
They're not
people
that
as
radical.
thieves. Maybe
that's what it is.
That. But like, yeah, they're not radical. They have to perform that they're guilty of being white, which whatever that fucking actually means to them, I'm suspect on, right?
I can't imagine any moment where I would feel more motivated to deprive someone of their physical material wealth than if they were like, now I'm gonna put my tongue on your foot. I mean, no, you're not. You're not gonna do that. You're either gonna fucking cough up something material, or you're gonna get the fuck out of my face. But people were nice to them about it. People were like, well, they're clearly insane.
But sir, I have platitudes.
Yeah.
I want to make at least two things. I want to explore two things. The first thing is that ultimately, the thing about performing guilt is that performing guilt in many ways is just a flex of the fact that you're rich.
Yes.
Or not rich, excuse me, that you have time, which in some capacity is money,
yes.
at least in our society. And if you perform guilt, you are showing off the fact that you have enough time, i.e. money, to dedicate toward learning all of the reasons why you should be guilty and knowing why you're bad, but also not improving someone's material conditions. Because essentially you're just
goes to them.
Because you have flexed your money to these people by like kissing their boots or whatever, and by kneeling down and kissing their boots and not actually like helping them in any way, you've just said, no, well, I'm one of the good white people because I have money and can dedicate it toward learning why I'm bad. But anyway, good luck.
Now, now, John, please tell us why your position is ableist.
Of course. Instead, I will pivot because I wanted to just go back to 1 second talking about guilty, horny Christians that we were on that subject just a moment ago, what Dan had mentioned. I would like to read you a quote by Rod Dreher.
Oh, God, yes.
So, all right, Chapo,
yeah.
We're not stealing your bit. Calm down. You don't have exclusive rights.
This is a different Rod Dreher thing. No, he doesn't. They don't have fucking exclusive rights to Rod Dreher. He's supposed to inane shit constantly. This is a dumb other thing. This is in reference to Lil Nas X, because this is another thing that has been going around the internet a bunch. No, fucking Chapo didn't talk about fucking Lil Nas X on the other podcast, but I do think this is very.
Hey,
and this is
John,
this is some awesome Rod Dreher. I love this shit.
Calm down.
Okay. All right.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
All right. You readers who are sneering at me and other Christians for being disgusted by this, ask yourself this. If Lil Nas X depicted himself being sodomized by Hitler or a hooded Klansman, how would you feel? Great. That would be very funny because he then fucking kills them. But anyway, if Lil Nas X depicted himself being sodomized by the Prophet Muhammad, even though you're not a Muslim, how would you feel? So let me ask the panel, how would you feel if you saw that?
How would I feel if you lumped in the Klan, the Muslim, and Hitler? Fucking awkward, man. I know you're not doing that, John, but even you like saying that, repeating that.
That's
Oof,
the weirdest. That's the weirdest sex club I ever heard of.
oof. It's weird that you think like Muslims are Klansmen. Oof.
Yeah.
Well,
Start-
of course,
There's a
the
lot
thing
of oops there in there.
He
the
thought of a
thing
lot
about
of
it that's
stuff.
that's so funny is he misses the part where Lil Nas X kills the person at the end of it. That's like this old trope. Whatever.
Yeah. Well,
The whole
he's
thing
not
is-
the archangel.
Oh well,
one,
you
but
know
he
we're
can't
honor
kill the
bound to
devil.
kill Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah. What if Little Nas X was depicting himself fucking Muhammad and then murdering him? Well, how would you feel? Well, Rod, you'd probably feel pretty fucking good. So
Yeah.
first off, not an argument, right?
Yeah.
Not really an
Mhm.
argument coming out of your mouth. Second off, you
This
show that
even the
shit.
Game of Thrones is weird.
Yeah.
Do more of that thing. I've been reading that thing all week. Like I literally have it pulled up right now too. I love this
Ugh.
thing. It's very short, his
Ooh.
Little Nas X Satan Shoes thing. But man, he is like did you see the part where he tries to make it political?
Oh.
No, I only
Oh,
saw
it's-
that quote.
It's so good, okay. It's so good, okay. Rod Dreher, everybody, Rod Dreher. You don't have to believe in the devil to see this is a very bad sign. As I wrote above, open Satanism, whether actual Satanism or a more literary, romantic Satanism, was a precursor of 20th century totalitarianism in Russia. The Nazi leadership was deeply into the occult, parentheses, Google Himmler sometime. As a Christian, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but like, Rod, man, Rod, you already made us imagine all those things that you imagined, right?
Yeah.
All those different people sodomizing each other. And then also, don't forget that Satanism is a precursor to Nazism. So yeah, Hellsing, really good anime. I love it when the vampire Nazis come back and they carve the giant pentagram into London. And apparently Rod's seen that too, and he likes it too. So Rod, join the stream sometime. We'll watch some anime, buddy.
Rod Dreher asking us, of course, to imagine sodomy at every turn.
Yeah.
Oh yes, all the time.
Listen, all I want you to do is picture a man raping another man. It's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing that? Now you're going to hell. See, Satan always wins. I win.
Yep,
I'm Rod Dreher.
He's in there. I tell you he's inside you, and you don't believe me, but Satan's inside you. He's inside you right now.
Satan's
He's
getting up all
way in there.
Satan
You
gonna
gotta
clap them
massage them
cheeks.
out.
Yeah. You gotta give yourself a deep tissue rectal massage to get Satan out of your asshole.
Like they're so mad about that video. That video wasn't
Scream at
even
it,
like
scream at it. Get out, you demon.
if you think about like all the explicit shots and hilarious things that were not in that video that could have been in that video.
Yeah.
Like does Lil Nas X slide down a stripper pole to hell to do a lap dance for Satan? Yes, he does. But he doesn't land directly on Satan's dick coming off of the I mean, they missed some opportunities is what I'm saying. Like
no. Little Nas X videos, fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
it's
good.
so
Listen,
it was good.
listen. The fact that he even slid down that pole, as Rod Dreher would tell you, is ableist.
Oh, we've circled back. We've completed the discourse.
So
Ouroboros.
yeah, the Discourse The Discourse of Boros, yeah. Fucking A, we got there. We got to the term even too. We have a name for it. But second off, if I want you want to checkmate you here, libs, because if Little Nas X is having sex with the devil, who's having sex with Little Nas X's wife? Nobody, because he's unmarried, and that's a worse sin than lap dancing the devil, and then might I add, committing a murder.
Yeah.
The devil is still a person. He's clearly above a Muslim in ranking.
I mean, if you read the Bible, he was treated, I think, very unfairly.
Very unfairly.
For some reason, that phrase sticks in my head whenever I think about people like Lucifer, who he was treated, I think, very unfairly.
Very unfairly. And then he has to have gay sex with Little Nas X, a black man. Hideous. God, this is so disgusting to a good, decent tradcath who's obsessed. Like any good, decent tradcath, he's just worried about anal sex all the time. The only thing the man can see and think about is anal sex. How
Speaking
filthy
of-
it is. And with a white man, obviously, he's not filthy. So lay off his shit. Okay?
Speaking of super normal tradcats and really old like weird art, I saw as I was scrolling through those Twitter robots, a painting of Catholic flagellants, and they had the pointy hats and everything, and they were getting ready to, really tear some flesh off. Do you think if Rod could just lash himself, do you think he wouldn't have to write the articles?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Be the easy route out for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah. Maybe no, yeah, that's right. If it were still normal to just beat yourself with a fucking iron rod.
Is it legal to flagellate yourself?
Yeah, you can. It's legal. You're not hurting anybody.
Nobody's
In
gonna
Rod's
come to
case,
your
you're
house.
not even hurting a
public,
person.
Depends on how much blood there is.
Right. I just feel like at some point it's going to be like, yeah, hello, 911. Yeah, my neighbor, he is inches from death. And
Well,
he just,
I
I don't know, he saw an R-rated movie or something, and he's been going for days, and I need you to go intervene, like, at what point would they stop?
Pancake.
At what point would they stop? I mean, literally, if you could hear Rod beating himself and in the process of dying, then somebody called the cops. Yes, they would intervene and stop him from self-flagellating. But
I thought this was America.
I fucking thought this was America. Listen, if I want to beat myself to death
if I want to beat myself
over the
to
fact
death-
that I witnessed a titty on the internet, I feel like I should have the right to.
I typed in the URL wrong. I was just trying to look at.
I was trying to go to whitehouse.gov and I went to whitehouse.com. That's not my fault. But yeah, no, if Rod could finish by just beating the shit out of himself, yeah, he would. Is he married? I feel like he's married.
He probably is.
I feel like the woman he's married to is fucking weird though.
It probably is somebody that just signed the documents and then occasionally shows up for a photo shoot for some conservative publication, but then isn't really not at that house, right?
She's not in love with him.
She's not walking around listening to those fucking antique typewriter keys clack away the latest fucking brutal takedown of the mean gay rapper or whatever. She's not walking around waiting for him to say, I think this is the one, Gil from The Simpsons or whatever. She's not doing that shit.
Gil's wife was cheating on him, for the record. And to the point where Gil's wife would put the lover on the phone to talk, and he was friends with the lover because she was cucking him that badly. Just a point of order.
Just a classic Simpsons did it moment where they were already doing wife's boyfriend back in the 90s.
Yeah, they did it. They definitely did that one, and Gil obviously was the loser. Poor Gil. He's like, oh, geez, I told you it was. You told me you broke that off. Oh, don't put him on the phone. Hey, how you doing? That's literally how that scene goes. It's amazing. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure, Rod's fucked up. He's a fucked up guy. He's having some problems.
They had stuff, right? They had, special equipment that was made to cause you terrible pain without killing you, right? They had stuff.
For flagellation, the cat of nine tails and shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Rod could probably
Maybe
find that.
If you made a modern day version of that, you could use safe ergonomic, antimicrobial materials and stuff. You could make it safer, if you got all your disinfectant stuff around.
Yeah.
That's not going to be
artisanally sourced cat of nine tails. Sure, I'm down with it.
Wouldn't be
an
enough.
ableist if I'm not.
It wouldn't be enough.
The good news is you're also being ableist if you are.
Yeah. Able. That's the thing. It's one of those things that I hate about the fucking Spoonie. I really do. If everything is ableism, then nothing of relevance is ableism. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. It crushes
Not
all
everyone
discourse
can
to a
afford
flat.
a cat of nine tails made from antimicrobial materials. It's just not fair of you to expect that.
Well, you gotta do something to stop, those infections though. I mean, you can't just go around just lashing off your flesh, in prostate reverence to God or whatever. You can't just go around doing that without being responsible.
I think it's prostrating.
thought this
I don't
was
think
America.
it's prostating to God.
Yeah, I thought this was America.
I mean,
Oh fuck yeah, that's
if
great.
I can't prostate to God, then what happened? What about the Constitution?
I just want to put it out there. I'm pretty sure it's not prostating. I'm pretty just prostating.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. Listen. If I can't touch God's prostate, then what am I
Apologizing.
even fucking doing in America?
Oh,
If I don't, God might do it with a black man.
Ooh.
I thought that was. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, let's get sacrilegious.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Fuck it. Let's just add to our sins, man. I don't
Should be
know.
our-
Anything more you want to throw about Rod Dreher and his obsession with making sure black guys don't get to finish? Isaiah,
I don't think I have anything else to say on the subject.
Okay.
No, I'm glad you brought it up, man. I love that thing. That thing is what, like 3 or 4 paragraphs. If there's anybody listening to us that has not read Rod's brilliant takedown of the Lil Nas X Satan shoes, it is just gorgeous.
It is. It's creepy, man. He's a creepy guy. He's another one of those people who would never say it, but he really enjoys offensive sex.
Yeah.
Like, he really does just get off on the idea of sex being offensive, and therefore, like, that's why we have to obsess over it. Like, he's a fucked up dude.
He like whispers in your ear like that you have to pretend you're possessed and you have to say like exorcist shit.
Yeah.
Like,
My name's Rod Dreher, and I like offensive sex. There's nothing you can do about it. My sex is offensive. That's how I imagine he talks. A little lisp going on. He's like,
that's as with
yeah.
this is usually the case. That is exactly how he talks. I don't know if you've never heard him talk before. It's just
I
a
have.
random coincidence.
I'm just guessing.
Perfectly synthesized. That is exactly how he sounds.
That's ignorant. I have offensive sex. You can't be mad at me for having offensive sex.
This was America.
I thought this was America. Why would I have offensive sex? I just want
So
to
relevant.
sex offend.
Always.
Fucking, oh man. No, you know what the worst part is though? Like this post fucking Trump era, like people like that are gonna go back to being like, I have the moral high ground. You never have, you fucking weirdo. Like,
Yeah.
my God, the number of people who have the high ground over you. Jeez, you look like Napoleon losing in fucking Russia, man. Everybody's got the fucking.
I
advantage
love
over you.
how establishment shows like to pretend they have the high ground.
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense to me.
Well, they're just being obsessive perverts.
I think they've narrowed their scope though more on like what is like. You notice them trying to
Oh yeah, they
slide
got
like
some weird definitions.
Yeah.
like trying to slide all the really like horrific populist backward shit like kind of off the table, like back into the hands of like ineffective little populist clusters of their following that they're not afraid of. Like
They're not
like the
populist, man. We can't let them have our word.
yeah,
That
I
is
guess you're
our
right. Like
goddamn word. They have no right using it.
it's a faux thing. The idea of the right wing populism. It's a complete fucking sham. This is true.
The right wing, because they're not popular. Like if they're fucking, here's the first thing, man. If they're populist, why the fuck do they got to rely on the electoral college to win a fucking election? Does that sound like somebody who's popular? Like the first.
They don't have to rely on the electoral college to win an election. They can also do it through voter suppression.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
You could
I'm
just
sorry.
make
I'm
the number
sorry.
be
Welcome
smaller.
to the hair-splitting stream, everybody. Welcome to the stream where we just take hairs and cut them right down the fucking middle. Yeah, that's right. You gotta rely on fucking electoral tricks to win, and you lose elections by fucking 7 million votes. And you're gonna tell me that shit's popular? That's the fucking silent majority? Fuck off. Like it sounds like you can't count, and like I'm tired of pretending that you can. Okay.
Oh yeah, but you know what I mean though. They're trying to move things like say like abortion or whatever. They're trying to move that like to the side of the table. And the last thing that they really shill for super hard as establishment shills has become just plain old just capitalism, meritocracy, earned it, of course it makes sense that I have this much money. Like that's become the main thing more and more gradually, right? I mean, I'm not just imagining that, am I? I don't think they're as full throated about hardcore culture war shit as they used to be, except with the capital thing.
I mean, they got fucking mad that they changed the brand to fucking Potato Head because there's a boy and a girl. And they're not
Yeah.
two separate brands revolving around a potato's genitals.
Yo, Hasbro went hard on that little grift. And I just gotta say, I'm disappointed that these motherfuckers. Okay, when I was like 8 or 9 and I had a Potato Head and a tub of Play-Doh, I mean, I already gave Potato Head every kind of imaginable genitalia. I mean, he's got the holes all over his body. It takes like 2 seconds to figure out somebody should put a dick on this potato motherfucker. And then you start thinking, I could probably put any old thing on this guy. So that's like already well-trodden ground to me. Just like having a bizarre like transhumanist science fiction experience with any toy really that they gave you where you could mix and match the parts. I mean, like you gave a kid a toy where you can put lady eyes and the man hat on there. You've already done it. You've already bent gender all to fuck ever since you first released the thing. So like there's no they were just looking for something to talk about that week. I was at work and a guy was looking at his phone and I didn't even know about the Potato Head thing yet. And he said, "Oh, I guess the queers want me try to shove gay Mr. Potato Head up my ass." And I hadn't even heard what was going on yet. And I was just like, I hadn't even fucking heard anything about the Potato Head thing, but I didn't even react. I'm just so used to that guy.
It's very odd. The very first thing he jumped to was the gays are trying to put something into my ass. You want to tell us about what you're doing at night, dude?
Oh God, yes.
I want to hear
the gay
your
agenda
podcast.
is always going to be shoved down your throat, shoved in your face, or shoved up your ass. That is always what they say the gays are going to do with their gay agenda.
I mean,
it's like Rod
that is
always
what
thinking
I'm
about
trying to do with my gay agenda, but like, I feel like that's more specific.
I've seen your gay agenda and it sounds pretty cool. Like I'm not gay, but like, fucking rock out, dude. That's a cool agenda you got there.
I mean, it's mostly food.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm down. That's why I tangentially support it. I try to join in when I can because like that's a pretty cool fucking gay agenda. As far as gay agendas
Calm
go,
down, moral oral.
I'm just saying. Have you seen his list? His itemized list? It's pretty good. I mean, as much as
it's actually a 9-course menu tasting course.
Yeah, and 8 of them I'll taste. It's the 9th one I want.
It's that last one that's just my dick on a plate.
Yeah, that's the one I had to turn down. But you had me up until then, so it's a pretty good list.
There you go.
Yeah.
8 out of 9, can't complain.
Yeah, that's
secondhand dick.
I was thinking of a really classy like
secondhand dick.
I was thinking of a really classy like haunted house style setup for that, where it's like it's a big table pushed all the way up to the wall, and the wall is a curtain, and then you're just like you're right behind the curtain. You're just gonna plop that bad boy out on the plate. It's right at the end when they finish. They get to the 10th course. I was imagining like way too classy of a setup for that.
You were.
No, you weren't. It's pretty classy. I'm a bougie bitch.
Well, let's see. We just talked about our co-host's gay agenda. Well, whatever I wanted to talk about really didn't fucking matter. Y'all are on fire. You keep going. I'll jump in.
Well, I think we can genitals genitals. I think we can tangentially
Everybody got
relate.
dicks on the brain now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cenk. Thinking about dicks.
That was my fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
I was really trying to avoid blaming the Jews. All right, for talking about dicks. But now that you have, cat's out of the bag.
Just
yeah,
bringing that ancient dick science to the table.
See, I just made it weird enough that you guys are like, I don't know if I should bring anything else up. I don't know what I should do.
Oh no, we can go weirder.
Yeah.
You forgot who you're talking to.
Oh, all right, do it right now. Make it weird. Make it weird.
Make it weird.
Make it rain weirdness.
Gaping butthole. Gaping stretched out.
French
solid butthole.
French style butthole. Oui, oui, monsieur.
Do you guys ever still hit people with goatsy? You guys ever still drop one of those on somebody?
I don't, but I respect
Nah.
it if you do.
Nah.
There's so many people alive that have
old.
never
Everyone
seen that.
knows. What?
Yeah, they're called children.
Right. More people are being born every day that don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Hell,
You've
they
never
would
heard
click
of Pain Olympics?
they would click a link that said goatsy JPEG. Oh fuck, I forgot about the Pain Olympics.
Fuck you for reminding me.
Oh god.
Ugh.
Dude, there are people alive who have never been lemon partied.
Ugh.
Ooh,
Never
Ooh,
happened to them.
It's the sexiest one. The sexiest of all parties is the one involving the lemon.
I feel they said it's chocolate mousse, but I feel like it can't just be straight chocolate mousse.
No.
They had to have mixed it or something.
Do we really have to devolve into poop jokes?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
As a
that
matter
was a
of
pretty
fact,
clear and concise answer. What more do you want?
Yeah.
I asked and you said yes, so all right.
It
Here
says
we
the
are.
casual stream, right? We're casual. Just everybody act casual.
Everybody do what you'd normally do. Talk about poops, butts, and the gay agenda.
Well, on that wonderful note, let's begin to wrap this up here. I've got a lemon party to get to.
Yeah. Oh.
I was thinking about the goatsy guy using ableist slurs against people with normal size assholes.
It's 2021. You can't just have a lemon party. It's got to have a lemon drop.
Guy
Man.
thinks he's so cool just because he has the biggest asshole.
Hey, when
He
you-
is the biggest asshole.
When you stream a game, you're supposed to share it with other people, right?
No, why
I
would
mean,
you do that?
I think that's how it works.
I did for like 20 minutes. I played Donkey Kong 2 and I was like, man, fuck this.
I mean, we dabbled the other night, but like a few weeks ago. But I don't know if it like I was only able to successfully keep that thing running for like 20-minute bursts.
Yeah, you're
So
not the fucking producer, man. Nobody wants to learn from me. Yeah,
hey,
you can do it.
I'm learning gradually, but I ate shit on trying to stream Twitch. That shit was interesting.
Oh, it's tough. Did you use the restream? We
No,
have a company restream.
We just did OBS, and I did manage to get it. If anybody watched that, they were getting 20-minute bursts of me and Eat the Rich saying a bunch of inappropriate things while he played some indie games, and then you would have gotten blackness for a good hour, and then you would have been subjected to the video of Craig Stivender running for sheriff right here in my home state while we laughed hysterically at that dude.
I had never seen it.
It's good. It's maybe one of the best political ads of all time. It's just a guy who's running for sheriff, and he tells you that he did a bunch of bad stuff, and leads up to telling you about what he thinks is the worst thing he did.
Radical honesty. It doesn't work when you're a shithead.
Yeah. The amazing thing is he already told you a bunch of way worse stuff before he gets to the thing that he thinks is the worst thing that he did.
That's pretty baller that he's really confused about what he's done wrong.
Right.
What's wrong? What's wrong, guys?
Like he's a cop and he just casually tells you stuff like, I've lost my temper while in the line of duty, and you're just like, oh Jesus Christ.
Who died because
here we go.
Right. What were the numbers on that, homie? Like what? Don't just say that and move on.
Yeah, that's not something you drop and are like, see, I'm honest. I murdered several black men out of anger. But the worst thing that I did was make my wife feel bad. No, the worst thing was...
No. The worst thing was that I didn't confess to it. But now I am.
Yeah, now I am for the first time. It's been 7 years in one day. And I felt compelled.
Me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been
We're even now.
Yeah.
No, but he
whoa, put back the pitchforks.
he reveals all this other stuff like about him, like just ramming his cop car just every which way and running into people and like all this way worse stuff, right? And then he gets to the end and he's like, I also regrettably cosplayed as drug dealer Big Meech in full blackface, and
that
you're like,
guy. That's
yes,
the guy you're talking about. Oh,
yes, it shows a photo of
Right.
him and his, I guess, black girlfriend at the time, and she's making this face like what are you gonna do? I couldn't get out of the way of the camera fast enough. Like,
Oh, I
that's the
remember that
penultimate
guy.
worst thing that he did. After he tells you all this really sketchy shit, to a backdrop of video of him and the boys cruising around in flat bottom bass boats in like the fucking swamp. Like, like, yep, a lot of bodies out here. Like, why is that the video I'm seeing? Like,
Oh,
this is a good bass fishing spot. Also a good spot to drop off body parts. Like, holy fuck, dude.
The body's
Like,
bringing the bass.
how tone deaf were you? Like, there's shots of him at like the local Hardee's, like talking to 3 old fat guys while they have grits, and then it cuts right to him in the swamp, him cruising, like looking for the dumping grounds. Like,
this is where
It's-
I'd bury a body again if I
It-
had to.
it's amazingly tone deaf. But yeah, we
Okay.
had a pretty hard Twitch fail other than that part of it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That guy did nothing wrong because I really needed him to admit all of that shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really needed that. I needed to hear
Yeah.
that he did that. And he was like, "I'm sorry. I may
Yeah.
have shot a black man in the mouth with a gun. I'm sorry. Listen, I regret all those times that I said that word, even though classically it means ignorant. I'm sorry. I apologize for confusing the Mr. Jefferson actor for a couple of homicide committers on the basis of his skin color. I apologize. I don't see how you can hold me accountable because I said sorry.
I don't see how you can hold me accountable. They all look the same anyway.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
I only used hard R's when I was dating a black woman and had explicit permission from her to do so. I have since ceased using hard R's.
I had a written pass that said it was okay. Some people would call that an N-word pass, and they'd be correct to do so. But now that I do not date a lady of color, a beautiful ebony princess, I shall forfeit my hard R card.
He's just like text her every few weeks and he's like, we're dating, and she's like, no, we're not. We just met at a
Okay.
party one time.
Thank you for informing me we are no longer dating. I appreciate your
He's
honor.
he's like, I need to use the word. Say we're dating.
Honey, I understand completely if you don't want me using that word, but if you'd like to extend that pass as an ex-boyfriend, I would appreciate it.
He just texts her for permission.
Yeah, all the time. Never.
This is Craig. I was having those emotions and I felt like I needed to say it. I don't know. It's a long night.
It's a long night of shooting at those colored men, and I apologize for it, but I did have to shoot at them. This is true. I can't get around that. That's not my choice, okay? My body, my choice, and I can't choose that. That's why the state is wrong.
It's
It's
my
no up
job.
to
I
me.
can't get fired from my job. I'm just doing my job.
I'm just doing my job of saying racially insensitive things. 2 men of color.
America, that's now a thing that exists. We're
thought
going to
you
leave
were
it at that
on a
before
gay
we do any
agenda.
more Hitlers for the evening.
Well, some people
I
would
thought
say
you
we're
was
doing
a part
Hitler.
of the liberal Jew media.
Yeah, yeah.
I merely thought my ex-girlfriend was a plant by the Jews.
That,
You were
that
right.
was another. That was another YouTube classic we queued up that night. Was when they interview that Nazi on CNN and he says two-party Jew party system. Like
Ugh.
that's fire to me. I mean, like on one hand the guy's a Nazi,
Yeah,
but on the other hand, like those are
You're a
bars.
Nazi.
spitting pure fire.
Yeah.
So,
He's just.
we have some regular plugs that we do at the end of the show, right? Does anyone
get
want
outta
to take credit for this terrible show?
I do. I do. Every week.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, hit us with it.
Yeah. So this was the Sons of Trier podcast. I'm your not host tonight. I'm just a dude. I'm just Dan Cohen, being a cool guy. I was joined by John Sinclair, Eat the Rich, the True Whore, and our host for the evening, Cenk Engels, who decided this was the content of the episode.
Yep,
who-
that's definitely my decision.
He's
I
He's got like a big
definitely
stack
did
of
that
papers
decision.
sitting there with signatures all over it for
He-
every riff.
he's got a script that he made us follow at gunpoint. And if you don't like what happened tonight, you blame him. That's all I'm saying.
The complaint box is prepared.
Complaint box is over at twitter.com. You can complain to at true horror 69 or at KETZERN. We will certainly cancel Cenk for what little that matters because he too owns a media company.
True.
You actually, Cenk has been lying. He actually does have a Twitter account. It's at ableismbot. So he disguises himself. He doesn't actually look like he's a human, but that's actually him.
Yeah.
John, you are killing me. You're not
God.
supposed to let them know these sorts of shit.
There was going to be a big reveal on the ableism bot. Going to be bigger than the anti-Semitism cow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, fuck that bovine.
All
Oh,
right, America. I hope you're happy with that.
oh, by the way, your girlfriend's back to lock, Cenk. We won't get to see her hot takes for a while.
Aww.
Who's
Okay.
Wait,
I thought.
are we off air?
No, we're not off air just yet because I just looked at her her fucking bio, and I swear to God, I thought it said "say it N."
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
You know who. Oh man, that's so you can complain to Cenk at Coffee Spoony on Twitter. All right, everybody have a good night.
Have a good night, America.